We're now live.
Excellent. Hello, world. Another session of Mojo reading. Okay, I'm going to need those. I'm hearing some feedback. Okay, that's much better. Okay, great. Okay, introductions. This is Naiji Coach. What else we got?
Here, Shiny Charlene.
Zai Neodemus.
Naiji Mitchell.
Naiji Ben.
Nijai Infiniti.
Naiji Gabe.
Nijai Starglow.
Excellent. Okay, team, we got a fun session planned. We're going to go through the Game of Thrones collage real quick for review. Then we're going to do a Q compare and contrast between Nijai dancing eyes and Bijai laser eyes. Then we'll go over the quiz. And then do some live reads. Okay, Charlene, take it away, please.
Okay, cool. Okay, so here's the Game of Thrones collage. We've gone through the major supporting and minor characters. This time around, each person will take 3 of the different characters and say their mojo name and character name. And
Yeah, say Mojo and bring up the entry.
right, which is basically the mojo. Yeah, cool. And then and we'll start off with Starglow and work our way up. Sound good? So it'll be Starglow, Gabe, Glenn, Infiniti, Ben, Mitchell, Ademus, and myself.
Okay, so reverse order.
Reverse order.
Yep.
Cool? Okay. So, Starglow, do you want to start us off with the first 3?
Yeah. Nijai Emilia Clarke as Daenerys Targaryen. Jeanai Kit Harington as Jon Snow. Jeanai Peter Dinklage as Tyrion Lannister.
Okay. We have Nijai Maisie Williams as Arya Stark. Nijai Sophie Turner is Sansa Stark. And we have Naizi Nikolai Coster-Waldau as Jaime Lannister.
Is Glenn here?
I don't believe he is, so go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Jaime Lena Headey as Cersei Lannister. Naizi Charles Dance as Tywin Lannister. And Naizi Rory McCann as Sandor the Hound Clegane.
Ben?
Jeanai Alfie Allen as Theon Greyjoy. Naizi Jack Gleason as Joffrey Baratheon. Jaime John Bradley as Samwell Tarly.
Jaime Michelle Farrelly as Catelyn Stark. Naiji Isaac Hempstead Wright as Bran Stark. Naiji Aidan Gillen as Peter Littlefinger Baelish.
Jeanai Colin Olive Hill as Lord Varys. Gina Richard Madden as Rob Stark. Izzy Sean Bean as Ned Stark, and Ard and Stark.
You can return.
What's that?
You can return.
Okay. I can't, because I'm going to collage. I can't. Gina Jason Momoa as Khal Drogo. Gina Mark Addy as Robert Baratheon. Nijai Gwendolyn Christie as Brienne Clark. Starkla.
Niji Stephen Delane as Stannis Baratheon. Niji Pedro Pascal as Oberon Martell. G. Nye Ian Glenn as Jorah Mormont.
Okay. We have Nizai Rose Leslie is Ygritte. Nizi Jerome Flynn as Bronn. And we have Niji Julian Glover as Grand Meister Pycelle.
Is Glenn on?
One is not.
Okay.
Okay, and this person I'm torn between two. I would like to say I'm going to say Niji. Niji Ian McElhinney as Barristan Selmy.
You're right.
Okay, good. Jaini Christian Nairn as Hodor. And Jeannie Joe Dempsey as Gendry.
Oh, okay. Is he G9?
Is that Nijai?
Oh no, he's Nijai. Right. Nijai Daniel as Podrick. Is she Nizai?
She is.
Cool. Nizai Natalie Dormer as Marguerite. Marguerite.
Yeah, Marguerite.
Marguerite Terrell? Cool. And then Genai Fenn Jones as Perez Terrell.
Actually, he's a
He's
Niji.
a Niji.
Oh, he's a Niji. Okay.
A hunky, dreamy one.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nizi Ian Cunningham as Davos Ubra. Sounds weird. Nizi Talia Kenna as Osha. Nizai Esme Bianco as Ross.
Nizai Carice Van Houten as Melisandre. Jeannie Ron Donachi as Roderick Castell. Nizi Michael McElhatton as Ruth Bolton.
Sheena James Cosmo as Jorah Mormont. Lee Zai Hannah Murray as Gilly. Naiji Jacob Anderson as Ray.
I want to play
Okay, come on in.
Nijai Una Chaplin as Lisa Maygear. Naiji Thomas Bruce Sangster as Jody Reed. Mute on
I have to go to a different screen to do that.
Okay, G9, I'll skip that now on G9 on advanced now.
I can switch that. So, start.
Diana Rigg as Oleana Terrell. Nye V. Ellie Kendrick as Mira Reed. Nye V. Gethin Anthony as Brinley Baratheon.
Okay.
We have, okay, trying to remember this dude. Is he a G9?
He is.
Okay, G9, Tom Walshia is Jagan Higar. Nine Lloyd is Viserys Targaryen.
You seem to have lost a coach.
Oh, we also lost Charlene.
We didn't lose Eileen. She's
Yeah.
We have,
Oh, I was confused.
wait, I didn't say that one
Okay,
yet.
I get it now.
We have Gamma, Nized Gamma Whalen is Yara Greyjoy.
Yep.
Very
Did you drop
talented.
off?
Yeah, what do you say? Because we lost you up here.
Well, he would know that. He would.
Okay, Naiji Kate Dickey as Lisa Aaron.
You guys keep going without me?
Genai Ciarian Hins as Mance Raider.
It's, we read it, Kieran.
Oh, Kieran.
Hines.
Gotcha. Oh boy, she's one who I don't remember. I will dare say Nizai.
Yep, got it.
Yep. Tara Fitzgerald as Celeste Baratheon.
Ben.
Oh, Nizy David Bradley is Walter Frey. Gino Miltos Yerlermu as Serial Pharrell. I'm just improving these names. I have no idea. Genai Ed Screen as Dario Naharis. I think it's Mitchell's turn now.
Probably because this is. Jeez, I don't know this one. I think. Well, I mean. Is he Genai?
He's a Naiji.
Oh, he's an IG. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. Alright, Naiji Michael Wiesman as Dario Naharis. As you have Dario Naharis. Tiny Sybil Kelly as Shay. Less than that. And Nizy Donald Sumter as Maester Lewin.
Let me mute my sound so next.
Jaini Natalie Emmanuel as Misande. Nijai Amrita Acharya as Iri. Nizi Peter Vaughn as Maester Aemon.
Taylor Spock. Shinai Stephen Cole as Guevara.
Oh my gosh.
Francis E as Hubert.
It must be some high-level spell. Let's do
Will the real coach?
It's like an Andy Warhol painting.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a turn? You want to take a turn? Let's take a turn. Okay, so Darko, back to you.
G. Nye Ellie's Gable as Ruckero. Guy Nee Susan Brown as Septa Mordain.
Please. Genocide.
Nai G. Indira Varma as Elaria Sand.
Okay. I don't remember him, but I'm going to take a guess at Nizi.
Yes.
Correct. Nizi Jamie Civis is Jory Cassell. He looks like a Jinai. So Jinai Nanso Azanzi is Jero Zojin Daxos. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Zaro and Zaxis.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't have the foggiest idea, but I'm gonna be a Nizi.
You said what'd you say?
Naiji or Nizi? I don't remember which
The
one.
Nizi.
Okay. Clive Russell is Brendan Blackfish Tully.
Nizi. Okay, Glenn's not here. Nizi Tobias Menzies as Edmore Tully. Naiji Ian Hanmore as Piat Pri.
Yeah, we just read it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And Naiji Wilco Johnson as Ilian Payne.
Oh, guys.
Looks like an execution. I haven't even gotten to the point in the show where he's up there. Oh, okay. Thanks, Shelly. Is he a Naiji?
Close, Nizi.
Oh, close. Now for tricky. Nizi Simon Armstrong is Corinne Halfhand. Is he a G9?
He's a pilot, but not a G9.
Oh, is it Z9?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can see the little guy. No.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. Z9, Halfbor Julius Borgson as Gregor Clegan.
Props for reading the name.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Did we just read this guy? No.
We did.
Yep.
Did.
Last week.
Nizi Dan Hilbrand as Krasimzmo Naklo.
Is it Mitchell now?
Oh yeah, Mitchell now. Yep.
Right. Nice. Roger Along as Illyrio something. Matus.
Matus.
Yes, I don't want to say it wrong.
Got it. Yep.
We did it.
Awesome. We did it. Awesome work.
Great job, team. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to focus on, coming up in the future, we'll be doing the Marvel Universe world. That'd be really fun to get some exposure to that as well. A lot of famous people there. Now we're going to do a Q compare and contrast. And something I want to do is several of these over the next few weeks between some female actresses. And so I'm thinking to go along with that, I might for the next few weeks be focusing on actresses. And something I might do going forward as well, just overall, maybe like when I do a theme, try to do it for like a few weeks to get a bit used to it before moving on to another one. I think maybe we'll make some more games that way. We'll try it out anyway. But I do have several compare and contrast with actresses to show you for the next few weeks. And so we'll do that. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and how do I do screen share? Is that the green screen, white arrow? Yep. Okay. So can everyone see this document?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Okay, great. So what I would do is actually just go through and have each person take a turn. This is actually what we did with the baristas here, at least one of them anyway, is seeing the difference between the two Jez Gather eyes. So I'll go ahead and start off, and I'll hand off to Charlene to take it around. So, okay. All right, so, is that good? Okay, so on top we have Vijay, Paul Abdul, and below Nijai, Christina Aguilera. See, in both sets, they have the openness, there's the playful, upbeat energy, and also a drinking-in quality and a natural approachability. The difference is below, in the knee dancing eyes, more dreamy, a little more otherworldly, a little more gauzy, for lack of a better term, as compared to the more clear-eyed, bright-eyed, also a bit flatter quality the V eyes have. Okay? So I'll go to the next sample, hand off to Charlene.
We have Vijay acting, and I can't have below. Can you still one more? Okay, and Vijay acting. And again, I think what I can see is the gauziness, sort of the more flat look that the Vijay has, and a little more creamy and gauzy with this.
Darlene, what part is exactly gauzy? Is it the eyes that are gauzy? What exactly is gauzy?
Gauzy is quality. I want to take on the coach. It's basically like a film over it.
I always thought gauzy was more of the towers.
It is, but no, the gauzy quality. I often think gauzy is the warm quality. So there's a gauziness that the Jaini has, and it's more so than the Nijai. But in between the Nijai and the Vijay, there's actually a difference in the amount of clarity. There's more of a clearness in the eyes. Big gauzy is the wrong word. I don't want to use the word muted, but they're...
I always think like
diffuse.
vibrant.
That's the word. Diffuse. Thank you. So the Nijai, you're right. Thank you, Mitchell. Instead of gauzy is diffuse. There's more of a diffuse quality in the knee eyes.
Yes, that I very much see.
Okay, good.
I mean, it's like the contrast of a laser, in a sense. I mean, when you think of laser, boom.
The laser's it's very, very clear. It almost looks like a camera lens.
Yeah.
Kind of flat quality.
Or like a regular light bulb as opposed to a laser.
Exactly.
And it's almost, it looks to me, which I know is not accurate in the way we say this, but it almost looks like Nijai are drifting while they're engaged.
Interesting.
Yeah, abstracting.
One more otherworldly, yeah, totally.
Because we're not seeing every piece of reality as it is. At the same time, we're engaged with the environment. We're abstracting at the same time, just like Adema said. We're doing two things at the same time. So it's engaged with the universe.
You know, when I heard you speak, I thought you said at first Vijay were the ones that are drifting, and I got confused. Nijai, that makes more sense. I just didn't hear you properly.
Well, they do have nigh drift, so they might look drifty in some pictures.
True. Not so simple. That's right.
But not drifting while they're engaged. Vijay wouldn't drift while they're engaged. They would have that as minor momentum and drift every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, modulation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Major modulation, actually.
Right. Polar. Ooh.
Are we going like turns? Who's up?
Ademus.
I thought it was Ademus.
Okay. All right. So with Lily Allen, you could definitely see. You could see Xylane. Okay. So you can definitely see like that glossy quality to Lily Allen. Also, like, look at the left, where you could see that there's a clearness quality to the eyes. She's naturally very soft at being adaptive, but like the eyes still have kind of like a focus quality to them. Jennifer Aniston. What's that?
Keep going, Davis.
Okay. Oh yeah, so Jennifer Aniston. The way she does kind of that peekaboo look toward the camera. She has that flashlight on her eyes, capturing like in cones and not like doesn't have the laserness. Let's see. You can also you can see a bit of the Gumby face quality to her as well. Versus like the fleshiness or visceralness of the skin. Mitchell's next.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, just... I mean, I guess just going right off what Ademus said, I mean, it's not just the eyes. You can see it even in the skin. You have Pamela Anderson and Miranda Baccarin. And, like, I don't know. We've talked about this a lot. The Vijay just has this more yang quality. Like, they're very flesh. I don't know describe much better than that.
Yeah.
But with the eyes... Oh, sorry. I don't want to take someone's turn.
Oh, wait. So wait, are we doing it? So like now I just know the difference between or know something.
Yeah, can you do it?
Okay. I don't know. The eyes of the Vijay, they seem much more amped, more kind of animalistic. Whereas the eyes of the Vijay, they're more you see like the optimism, the infinite potentiality. You see the otherworldliness.
Yeah. Once again, in this case, I'm really I really see a difference in that laser focus that we're seeing in Ashanti versus that. I mean, I just see being a little bit more dispersed in the cerebralis. It just feels more just intense laser focused for Ashanti than it does for Sarah Bareilles, where you kind of get the
It's a bit of a subtle quality. I don't know if it applies all the time, but something that kind of stands out to me or makes my simulator go is that there's an expectancy with the adaptive eyes, both the knee dancing and the laser, but the expectancy has a different quality. To me, there seems more like an almost physical expectancy in the eyes of the V mojos, like it's expecting you to show something like an actual worldly item or presentation, where the expectancy I see from Sarah Bareilles seems a bit more abstract or conversational, like ideas. There's an expectation of ideas to be, put forward.
And to kind of bounce around.
Yes.
Yeah, like I see expectancy very much in Ashanti, but it's not the same kind. What it's expecting is different.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel like if that was Janet Jackson instead of Ashanti, I feel like I would be getting a very similar response, actually. This
Yes.
very visceral type of smile. It wouldn't make a difference, really.
Indeed.
Janet Jackson on the other end.
Okay, here we go. Who's up next? This is Vijay Drew Marymore and Vijay Allison Brie. Who's up?
I believe it's Gabe.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, it's Glenn. It's Glenn.
Or did
Charlie, if you keep track of the order and just tag people in.
Okay. So, I mean, with Vijay, I'm not even seeing the picture right now, but it's just with the Nisha, there's a kind of look that they have that in the eyes and their overall demeanor that's more like magical, if you will. Like there's a kind of
I suppose like the earthiness quality on the V in comparison. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. With the Vijay, it's more just kind of it's more yang, but it's kind of like
it has more of an immediacy to it. I'd say the V over the knee.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah, with the Nisha, it's more just kind of like looser, I feel like. It feels looser and it feels more... Maybe loose isn't exactly the best word, but it's more just kind of like abstract in the overall, and fairy, and like magical in the eyes.
I do feel
that's kind of like what it's...
kind of a detailed base appraisal, like here, Rachel Bilson. I see the playfulness and I see the upbeat, but it's kind of looking almost like, for me, because I had V, I noticed this is a V appraisal of things. Where for me, the knee, the dancing eyes here, it feels in a cool way a bit more foreign to me. That way of appraising the environment. They are. They're kind of like drinking in the environment and are looking for certain stuff.
Yeah.
I feel, as an interpretive, I feel myself getting a little tenser under the gaze. This is a subtle thing, but I feel slightly more tense under the gaze of the Rachel Bilson.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Has different expectation of me, and I'm not as comfortable with that expectation.
Lynn Kaplan, it's like I'm looking at her now. It's a lot more easy to just like kind of like engage in a conversation or like just looking at the pictures. And I think the permeability is something that's also noticeable too. It's different with the V being source with the knee.
Yeah, the V seems more, I think, present, but the knee seems more permeable. It's interesting. They're both very much reacting to what's going on in the environment, but the tone's different.
Yes.
Yeah, I get more sensitivity off of the knee eyes as well. Both actually seem. They both seem. It's interesting. They both seem gentle. They seem sort of open and gentle, but.
Yeah, the Nijai feels more gentle.
Yeah, it does to me anyway. That's what I have to note. Is that we should all note, like everyone here, that we're all interpreting, so that's going to affect how we read it. So audiences who are watching this, note that as well. Okay. Who's next? We need to make sure we get going here, and I need to make sure everyone gets a turn in. So who's next? What?
Gate.
Oh, okay. Michelle Branch versus Amelia Clark. I don't know. Just an impression I've gotten in past compare and contrast between these two different mojos. The Vijay seems like almost more of like a what you see is what you get kind of quality to it. There's definitely there's like more of a crispiness, I guess, to their look. This is so vague. I know it's kind of subjective.
It is essential that we try to find words as best as possible for these very tacit artistic appreciation things. But that's how all art forms get done. This is soul art, but we do need words to kind of describe the phenomena we're seeing. So thank you for your effort.
So anyway, to the knee-eye quality, I feel like there's like a hidden mask that I personally find tantalizing. Obviously,
yeah, it's that secularization.
Yeah, but there's an extra filter of mystery to it that like all that's there is not like completely apparent upon like literally.
Yeah, it's not quite as touchable.
Yeah, I get from
there's an immediate touchableness to Michelle Branch over Amelia Clark, but for me that's not actually as appealing or comforting.
Right.
I can see how it could be because actually, like what New Mig is saying, there's a bit of a less touchable quality to me. As gatherers, there's a little less here-ness to them as opposed to their B counterparts.
Right.
There's pluses on both sides.
Totally.
Because I could see like that lack of immediacy in the Nijai, for example, to someone who was a literal mojo, that could be like, oh, I want something that when I go forward, I can hold on immediately. The immediately is there to receive.
Right.
In a one-to-one kind of way. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Has everyone got a turn? I'm make sure everyone gets a turn, and then we're going to scroll through a bit quicker.
Starglow.
Thank you. Perfect. Good.
Okay, so Vijay, Tony Braxton, and Nijai, Kaylee Cuoco. Tony Braxton, even when she's a little bit disengaged there on the left photograph, it's still an immediacy. And in the right photograph, she's right there with you. It's that whole Nijai, what you gonna do or what am I gonna see versus what can you share or what can I share with you. It's that one is appraising the environment as it is, and one is appraising the environment more as it could be, or the way we think it should be, or what we'd like it to be.
True.
I mean, we put this filter on it. Like if the environment is not the way we want it to be, we almost put this filter on the environment, and that's part of the delusion that we see that we give off, I think. Because if the environment doesn't match what we actually want to see, it's not like denial, but it's like we're not going to look at that right now.
Yeah, I think it does add to the kind of the quirkiness versus the sort of, lack of a better term, the ideal physical form quality that Vijay gets. They both have their appeal, but one's more like this ideal form in a sort of physical way, the other one's more like the quirky kind of thing, but they both have that thing. As a part of that, I was noticing that they both are forward because they're objective, but as it's kind of mentioned, it's interesting because both Kelly Cuoco, she's looking right at us, she seems a bit more distant. The knee is not as here, even though it's an actual, present-based power, it's not as here. Even though it's present, it's not here. It's interesting. The knee is kind of not present, it's also kind of not here.
But
the knee is actually a combination. It's actually in the environment, but it's not actually there.
Right, because that quirkiness comes from the fact that we're reacting to an environment as we'd like it to be or the way it should be. That because we're a step off beat from what's actually going on all the time.
I mean, it's interesting how you guys have always called it the second conversation, and it's almost like you almost have to pass the first conversation to really, to go to transcend beyond the first conversation. I mean, as long as I understand what this means.
Yes, what it means is it has to do with the expectancy, for example, which is the thing you put across to a V-Mojo. There needs to be the thing itself and then the quality of its presentation. But they are together, and that's what we talk about the accentuated rhythm. The presentation of the V is an accentuation of the V. Ne's different. Whatever you're presenting, whether it be physical or words, that's a vehicle for cleverness. Whatever you're doing, the mug you choose, the outfit you're wearing, the wordsmithing you do, all those things are actually, you're talking about, say, cars, but it's always an opportunity to show ideas, to bring in idea jumping into whatever you're talking about. So that's kind of the second conversation quality. And also the expectancy is different. There's an expectancy in the eyes, or for the Mojos, of cleverness or wit or something interesting when you deliver it. Which is why Nez, for example, are so into humor. All 8 of the Turtle Mojos. And I think it's because they just like, as part of a transaction, when you give something or take something, that there's humor, wit, something, a second conversation, so there's a double meaning to what you're doing.
Yes.
It's a preference.
And there's always this thing, like, we're not actually, we're more paying attention to the potentiality. Like, so when someone tells us a joke, the next joke is one that we have not already guessed. It's not all that common. Like, when you're already jumping to the potential, what's the probable outcome? And so if you give us the same tired joke, we're already past that. We're already on to the next potential.
Yes, entirely.
Offbeat with what you're delivering, so that the expectancy is you're not just going to open a door, you're not just going to order your coffee, you're going to do something else while you're doing the normalcy. And both the Nez powers, they kind of have that appetite to them in their interactions. Whereas with V, what I noticed, and I think Vi would feel very comfortable with this, is there's an expectancy of visceral aesthetic quality. There's an expectation of, the well-presented things. Even was like, say, grunge to even, because some people like, say, think they have like more of like a rockabilly style or so forth, but still there's more of like wanting to have a tangible goodie. I guess the goodies that they're looking for are different, because both of them are kind of looking for some sort of personal, values-based goodie, but the goodie itself will look different because of the language. Okay, we need to get going here, so we have time for everything. Let's go ahead and move on, but there's a good run on those gather eye differences. I'll hand over to Shailene, and we'll get into the quiz.
Okay. Let's see. So the first, I can see the answers, by the way. You're so screen sharing. Awesome. Okay, so first up we had Anya Ebinger. I said Naiji for her.
I said G9.
I also said G9.
I said G9.
I said Naiji.
I said G9.
I said G9.
I said Naiji.
This two?
Tanya Ebinger.
Tanya Ebinger is Naiji. Next.
Next up is Jessica Evil Eye, and I said Naiji for her.
I said G9 for her.
I said Naiji.
I said G9.
I said Naiji.
I said Gina.
Naiji.
Ginai.
Back forth, back forth, back forth.
Ping pong.
She's Naiji.
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 Did you hear what she just did, by the way, in MMA?
Yes, we saw that actually.
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed.
That's what you get with cauliflower ear.
Oh boy.
We got to stay focused because we're
Okay.
here. But yes, that was gnarly. She almost took off another professional fighter's entire ear.
Yes.
Exploded.
I'm hearing feedback. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Claudia Gadelia is the next one. I said Shinai for her.
I said Jinai.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Jinai.
I said Jinai.
Naiji.
Naiji.
Claudia Gadelia is Shinai.
Next up is Rachel Cummins. I said Naishi for her.
I said Jinai.
I said G9.
I said G9.
I said Naiji.
I said Jinai.
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 Rachel Cummings is Naiji. Rachel Cummings is Naiji.
Next up, Barb Panchak. I said Shinai for her.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said G9.
I said Jinai.
I said Jinai.
Said Naiji.
Naiji.
Bar Ponchak is G9.
Next up, Tara La Rosa. I said Jinai for her.
I said Jinai.
I said G9.
I said G9.
I said Jinai.
I said
Jinai. Jinai, sorry.
Jinai.
Tara La Rosa is G9.
Yay!
Good job, guys.
All right, how about the extra credit? Anybody do that?
Yeah, I did. So next one, I'll lead it. Megumi Fuji. I said G5 for her.
I said Naiji.
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 Megumi Fuji is Naiji.
I knew it.
Pearl Gonzalez. I said Shinai.
I said Jinai.
I said G9.
I said G9.
I said Jinai.
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 Carl Gonzalez is G9.
Last one, Misuki Inoi. I said Nijai for her.
I said Naiji.
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 Naiji.
Mizuki Inoue is Naiji. All right, nice job, team. Okay, so which one was the toughest, do you guys think? Do you guys want to get a consensus on that, and I'll cover it?
I think Rachel Cummins was a case where most people went Jinai.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I would agree.
That's what comes to
That
mind.
was definitely a tricky one to me.
I felt like Tanya Ebinger came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I really thought that was Jinai.
Me too.
Okay, let's cover Rachel Cummins, and then if we have time, Tanya Ebinger. So my plan is try something different here. Is I'll make sure that everyone feels good with the correction and if some people need more time, then the rest of the team can help them out, and we'll take as much time as we need. If everyone gets it fairly quickly, then we'll go ahead and we'll get some more people. All right, take it away. Actually, who got this right? Who got her right? Write in the comments.
I got her.
I got her.
Okay.
Oh, Rachel? Rachel? Never mind. Never mind.
Okay, then let's have Infinity.
Rachel coming?
Did you get Rachel correct?
I got it right.
Okay, let's have you take lead, and then everyone else who got it right, go ahead and assist, and anyone else, as you feel you're starting to see the correct answer, you can chime in as well.
All right, I need to.
I'll put the link on the side, by the way.
I see her immediately looking away from the camera, kind of weaving a little bit.
Let me see if I can find an interview where she's actually just the whole time there, so you can pick up more of it.
Yeah.
Point out one of the cues for everyone. Yeah, I think I found one.
I can look for something also.
Yeah, I found one.
She was
Before
actually.
we get into it, let me snack though. I'm sorry. Somebody
This was one that I was like really iffy on. I got the wrong answer, but just commenting.
I mean, immediately in that one clip that I saw of her, she wasn't making eye contact. She was kind of, there was like a bob and weave type of thing to her, rather than a really straight up G9 type of
big
walk.
cue for me and distinguishing G9 versus Nige is the amount of eye contact.
Yeah, and how
And
much
then,
they engage.
You know. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing also
is on the eye contact is the jutting. One thing that hunters have to work on to not do is to look away into their drift or check when they jut. And she does this. She kind of went slinky forward and jutted with her G. When she did, her eyes went off to the side, either the nine or the side. So the pilots tend, when they jut, their V actually flares up. They kind of blaze into it a bit more. Whereas actually it's weird, like a shark the way. The hunters kind of their eyes roll back or something when they actually go forward for their strike.
So is it something where for a G9, it's pretty much like they're staying at one level and it's just either moving forward, back.
It's true.
It could be a little bit more of a side-to-side type of thing in Nige. That's what I've noticed.
There tends to be more of a slinky kind of a movement with the Nige for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, Coach. You mentioned that when Nige go out forward, they kind of like look away, or they kind of.
They will tend to
roll their eyes back in their head.
When their eyes actually hold on to the target, it's more intense than when the pilots do it. But it's more extreme for the hunters to hold eye contact through the entire strike. Otherwise, there's a lot of times where they'll smile and they'll close their eyes while they'll smile, or they'll judge and their eyes will go off to one of their subjective powers as they judge forward.
I could totally relate to that. Yeah.
Coach, does that have anything to do with having learned that when you go forward in a jut, if you're being it, then it just makes everybody completely freak. Do y'all have that experience as like a young child?
Yes,
maybe.
there is an element, but to be honest, the greater portion is an internal experience, which is when I go forward. It's just natural for me to keep track of my internal feed. I feel exposed if I don't have that strong internal feed. And you'll notice, like a lot of Naiji, they do hold contact, and the eyes, a lot, they'll blink. They'll stay looking at you. They'll keep blinking in their subjective power, where the Jinai, for example, can go out and they don't feel drained to stay out in a different position without checking on their worldview for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I think a great example would be like in the movie The Matrix when Neo he kind of gets back up after he like gets shot, and then he's just like doing all these moves, and he's not even paying attention to like the person.
Yeah.
He's just like in the moment. It's so cool, but it's like that's kind of like how it is.
It's true.
Because I find the V of a Jinai not nearly as discombobulating.
No, it's I find the V of the pilots to be more, I don't know, robust, more steady. Yeah.
Naiji tend to be a little bit more like, I think, with their eye detached, kind of like above it all while they're doing the G.
They can be, or they infuse the G with their Nai simulator, which is when the Naiji is really present, and it tends to be very unnerving when we do that. Although people like it if we do it in the right circumstances. Something else to notice, it's very subtle, but it's there, is the movement. We've talked about the hand gesturing. We've talked about the articulation cadence between the, say, Naiji and Jinai. And also we've got into the slinky rhythm. They both do slinky, but the Naiji do it more, and there's more a bit jarringness to it. Or it's hypnotic / jarring. It's a weird combination of the two, but it's more. They do it, this is very subtle now, in the eyes. Going with the jutting, I've seen actually when the Jinai will jut forward, they'll even go to their Nai. They have just a more measured cadence about their interaction when they're with people. Even when they go off their drifts, it can be seen as a bit, which is funny because they're going underwater. But the rhythm of it is more assuring. The Nai, it's like it looks at you, looks away, looks down, looks up, looks away, looks inside, has a vision, comes and look. It seems a bit more furtive, and so that's when Nai locks its eyes on things. It can see that it's burrowing in you. That's because naturally it wants to kind of move off. It kind of will look and wants to drift and think about you and look back at you. Think about you, look back at you, or look at you and blink, look back, blink, look back. And so that's what its eyes will do naturally unless you hold them stiller. So here, she'll notice he's being very kind of like, charming and charismatic, but when your eyes go off, it seems a bit more furtive. So the Jinai and the Zenai, their Nai drift is going underwater, but it seems less furtive. It has less of a furtive quality, and more just sort of like, hey, let me remember the story, let me think of an idea. But the Naiji, the cageness, the eye movement's a little quicker. Yeah, a little more darty. That's word for it. The eye kind of all the hunters, it's a little more darty than the pilots are.
And there's this thing that Jinai do with their V that's a much more. They use their V in a way that like is soothing. Whereas if a Naiji goes V, it's either because there's immediate danger. It's like when a Naiji goes V, I want to go, oh shit, what's going on?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Definitely.
It's more frenzied, yeah, definitely.
Even Naiji do stuff they like doing, like artwork. It's sort of like, okay, I'm about to V now. Probably want to give me some room.
Yeah, Jinai, it's more just like natural double barreling was kind of like less altered.
Definitely.
It's like they use their V to like make everything okay in the environment. They use their V for soothing. I mean, yeah. I'm sure they can also use it for in a warrior way too. But as a woman with a guy Jinai, they use their V in a soothing way. Whereas
yeah. And sometimes it can be like with a amp quality that makes like the kind of life of the party, you know, makes everyone feel like we're in this party together. So, but it's always like, you know, it's more steady. It's like more there and more ambient.
Come on, the water's fine. Yeah.
You know, more encouraging, I think, too, in a way.
Yeah. Whereas, I'm seriously, it's like when a bird's in a field, or like when they hear a noise or whatever. When I notice a Naiji go V, it's like, oh, I've got to find out what's going on because something's about to happen. Stuff's about to go down.
Yeah. Indeed. I end up reacting very similarly, actually.
It's like my early warning system. Like it's when I've been with Naiji guys, it seriously is. When their V goes off, I'm like immediately prepped for like whatever's gonna happen.
Because it does, once it comes out, the V of the Naiji is similar. The difference between that and the G9 is similar to the differences in the G, where the G9 have easy time starting and stopping conversation. It's not such a big deal to get worked up to talk, and then once you're up at altitude, you want to do all the talking you can before you have to come back down again. The V is the same way. They can kind of get into V easier, have more energy when they're doing it. If they need to stop, they can get the V, like, engines going again. Like, turning it on and off is not so much of a distance for them. Do you mean that button?
Yeah,
they can turn on and off a lot easier. I think that you can kind of feel that.
It's like
Let's go ahead and watch a little more video now that we've kind of talked about it, because that's all very good stuff and very important and true. But always you want to bring it back to the phenomenon to actually see it unfolding. Let's take a look at some cues here.
Okay.
Oh, on the juts, besides that overall, I think what Infinity was saying, the less slinky range in the movement, they're more frontal forward. See here, when she juts, she keeps slinking while she's jutting. She like, the G9 slinky and then jut. But they actually stop slinking a bit when they finally go into the full extension of the jut. She's still wiggling while at full extension.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a constant wiggle for the Naiji.
And you see that in the ring. Even when they're actually doing full like combat speed with their bodies, they use that rhythm is still there as well.
So that back and that side to side sort of hypnotic motion, that's Nai. So
it is. It's Nai with V. It's trying to actually get past. It's trying to see what you're looking at and get past.
Right.
What you can track. It wants to go where you can't see it or stop it.
Yeah, wants to find those angles.
Notice the ease of her in channeling there.
I can also notice the higher ratio of Zai in her voice than a Shinai would have.
Higher what?
Ratio of Zai in her voice than a Shinai would have.
Yeah. It's more monotone than a little bit more monotone.
I also noticed that there was a higher ratio of Zai.
Yes, very true, very true.
It's so interesting because
it gave almost a bit of a whine, a Zai whine.
But I guess it can. Oh yeah. Maybe I'm thinking too much of articulation, but I guess Zai can still very much play a role in the vocal patterns.
Well, it's the break, the timbre of the voice
it's the breaks of it, yeah.
changes depending on what combination of powers you're using, like the Shi and the Zai or the Shai and the Z. That puts different quality to the voice.
Okay.
Is everyone good in her?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it.
Okay, if everyone's good on that,
She's interesting.
Go ahead. Can we move on to another sample then? I think Adimas had one also we thought was good. Who's that, Adimas?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Tanya Evinger, actually. So.
Now, it's funny, with Tanya Evinger, I felt like she was actually keeping a pretty steady... she wasn't doing as much wiggle. But then
well,
there might have
she
been other things.
She was doing a lot of HSP, and she wasn't really having that much eye contact with, if you notice, with the interviewer. She had.
Charlie, you want to put video on and take lead? Because we're running short on time. That's both of you.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And yeah, I noticed a lot of HSP in her videos.
Okay.
I'm trying to load up a video of her, but it's not working on my app, so I'm going outside to get it.
Just out of curiosity, who else got it right?
Besides me.
Besides Jailene, and I think Starglow got it right too.
Good job.
I only got 50% on the quiz, which I'm not real happy with, but no, it is what it is.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Every week is a mixed bag.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think I might be able to help with this one because I was actually really strongly considering her as a G9 in the beginning, but then I changed her to an IG.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, you got it right.
And one thing I was mentioning her is that she's got a lot of beat up action, and she's got some insecurity going on, so she's Gene macking like all the time to cover up her HSP.
True.
The first time I read her, I was actually considering V-Zai because of how much V and Zai she has, but then I started noticing the HSP. I'm like, and she's also like, it started like, I started seeing that this pattern of her using that, overcompensating, yeah.
Yeah,
that
is interesting because, like, I mean, okay. I'll let Sarah talk since she got it right.
Well, she uses her not.
Sorry, go ahead.
What happened? Okay, let's try this. Stargirl keeps talking. Jailene, can you let it play, but mute the clip?
Yeah, I'll let it play, but mute
Okay. She's doing the side-to-side thing, which we talked about with the other Naiji. And I noticed that in a lot of her videos, she uses her Nai dissatisfaction almost as an anger to get over the HSP stuff.
Yeah, very true. Yep. See her here. She's looking away.
No, she's very interested.
She's drifting a lot.
Yeah.
She doesn't focus on the interviewer or the camera if she can help it.
Yeah.
She just did that whatever guy thing that nice.
Yeah, she's really has that FU attitude going on.
That whatever Zai.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when she does smile, it's not going into her eyes. Her eyes are always kind of this like cunning, cagey.
Yeah, and they're very V'd eyes too.
She does have a lot of V. She does have.
She does.
And
yeah, she does do a lot of the shoulder shrugs.
Yeah. And it's not smooth V like it would be with a Junai.
Yeah, it's
now I'm noticing the lack of smoothness.
Frantic. It has a frantic quality to it.
Yeah.
She's also like, I think, a bit like, because I think she's not able to get away with using her Nai as much in life, so she's kind of relying on the G by like smack talking, I think, a little bit here and there. And that's kind of like not something that, it kind of looks kind of weird on her when she does it. It doesn't seem like G Nai would do that sort of thing. And it kind of seems like overcompensating, really, it does. And
she's out with her body and her face, but her eyes are not looking directly at the interviewer hardly at all.
No. Yeah. And not even at the camera. Like, she doesn't pick one or the other. She's not looking at anything if she can help it.
Yeah.
See, I thought she was looking at the camera, but you're right.
Yeah, very furtive eye contact. She's out. She's trying to keep frontal energy, but while she does, her eyes just keep furtively darting around.
Good point.
As an IG, like when I'm speaking, like half the time I'm not even looking at the people I'm talking to. I mean, it's I'm either drifting or I'm like.
It's like my body is here, my face is facing the audience, so that's it.
You're trying to work out in your head like how you want to say something as you're doing it, and it's less native to be speaking, as an IG than a G9. So you have to. The worldview is on top, so it.
And I think people should also understand. Sometimes I think Naiji get dinged for like having not engaging in eye contact because they're like shy or something. I actually think it's because we don't really think about eye contact. It's not on our mind. We're thinking more in terms of like, in order to express to a person that I'm paying attention to them, I kind of look away.
Yeah,
and
actually,
see that I'm
you'll see it all the time. Naiji, they're talking naturally and are comfortable with it. In interviews, they almost always look away from the interviewer. In fact, the more confident they are, the more they just do that. They don't even try to act like they're not. They're kind and friendly, but they're like drift, and they'll talk while they're drifting. Like a lot of times I'm talking to Jiley and Demas, they're used to me. If I were to speak at my top level, a lot of times I'll look off while I'm talking as I kind of get like my simulator going.
And I think there's also this thing where you, like I was saying earlier about when you learn when you're a young Naiji, I think, at least from watching the Naiji that I've known, I think you learn that if you do make continuous eye contact with somebody, that's going to not go the way you intend it to go.
I think so, because it kind of seems aggressive in a way.
It does, and that element, though, is not the larger element, but it's very much present. It actually stems from the first element, which is Naiji's native eye contact is to look at their object of interest, often, most of the time, in their mind's eye. Right. And this is key. When Naiji looks natively, they natively look in their simulator, and they just look. And you're used to, this is key, this is why you don't know, it's why it's weird when you try it in the world, because at first it's internal. If I have an object, like Nexi comes to me, I just look at her, like an artist just like raw. And I can stare as much as I want. In my simulator, I tend to stare at whatever I feel like looking at, and it pulls me towards it. I look at the horizon, and then I go to the horizon. I look at the owl, and then I'm with the owl. And so there's a lot of like staring and like pulling myself there. So when we look in the world, that's how we look at cars. That's how we look at everything. And it's only when you start doing it to people that you realize, oh, they get unnerved when you look at them with those eyes. And that's when you start, you are right, there is definitely a furtiveness that comes from not wanting to weird people out, but the first furtiveness is the fact that you really don't want to be doing most of your eye contact with the world. You want to be like talking to a person, and then go and eye contact your vision, and then come back with your ideas. So you kind of have to dart around while you're talking to people.
And see, as a new guy, when I'm watching a Naiji talk and he's talking in his Nai, I'm tracking with him. As long as he's in his Nai, I'm good with that. I'm tracking with the Nai. Now, when I've been with Xi Alphas or with a Naiji who's too Xi, and they start disengaging completely with their Xi, that makes me just
Well, dissociation is creepy for sure.
Oh no!
But Naiji, when they're actually doing it correctly, like they said, Jiley and Demas seem a lot doing this. They'll be on their left. They'll be kind of 1,000 yards staring on their left, and they actually will get rather excited. You see a lot of directors, and so they start talking to the front, and they just get really, really animated. And actually, it gets quite warm. They're drifting, but they're getting quite heated.
It's this warm and engaging thing that goes on when they're drifting with their Nai and their Ji. It's this warm that you're creating this space. And I get to be in that space with you, that sort of thing. But when it goes Xi, that's like boxing me out completely.
It's Xi. It's also Nai.
It's like a cold shoulder.
Nai when it doesn't attach to Ji. It can be unattached. That's creepy too. Basically, when the Nai and Xi just do their own thing together, it's creepy. But it's very useful.
It totally is.
At certain times, it's quite helpful.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's reasons why. I'm talking as a in a relationship sort of thing going on between
No,
myself as
usually
the
the
guy
times when
and.
dissociation. No, agreed. Usually when dissociation is being done, it's not in relationship terms. Usually you'd want to see it, because all of them can actually do it. The Xi as well, and the Xi V and V Xi. They can disassociate, but your Xi is going to attach you to people, so usually you're doing that when you don't want to be attached. So probably it's appealing to people who like you when they see like a V Xi or Xi or whoever, when they're in the zone and something's trying to emotionally knock you off your rhythm. And you look over to see if your friend or mate is going to get knocked off the rhythm, and you can say no. they are in the zone. They're not going to be moved in any way. That's when things are reassuring.
Oh yeah, 'cause that totally works. I
Right,
totally
but
recognize that.
friend or lover, and you feel like I couldn't move this person at all. That's creepy. But when it's like nothing else that's improper could move them, you're like, yeah. That's cool.
That's usually you're absolutely right, because I totally grok what you're saying, because like when we've been in a iffy, sketchy situation, and I look over and he's nice-eyed, and
Yeah, it's like
I know the whole world. I know it is cool. He has it taken care of.
that is great. Just like when the AdRoms and their shades kind do like the knee Z, that could be seen as like in your face bracing, very questioning,
Yeah.
you know, investigating.
What are you doing?
Yeah, but when it's actually on your side, it's like, yeah, go investigate him, get him.
Yeah, true.
Go get him.
I love me some of that double barreling.
Get the fuck
Yeah,
out.
because then to me, it's like being done. Then like the Don't Bury Him D&Z, it's like awe-inspiring. It's like, that's so cool. Because I don't do that, but I recognize what it can do, which is really like I liked it. I wanted it.
Fast, and it's meant to take him out.
You guys might like my temper.
Okay, if we're all good on her, then let's go ahead and break it through a live read. I have a request from Ademus. I've never given you guys the answer to Abby Martin, have I? Abby Martin it is. Good luck.
Abby Martin, what is she do?
She is a journalist on RT. She runs a show called Breaking the Sound.
Ah. Okay, Abby Martin.
Familiar. Did someone request her?
Ademus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, 'cause she looks familiar. I think that's just because I've seen her on the request thread.
You've probably also seen her in other interviews because she interviews a lot of people too.
But the pictures, I'm looking.
Oh, right.
Okay, probably. There's the link.
Thank you, Shelby.
Okay, so is this Abby Martin?
Yeah, she's got interviews though.
Can you pull one up?
What's that?
Pull one up, please? 'Cause
Yeah, I think I got
Okay, we're gonna look for. Oh, you know what? I have one for now. I have this one, and you can look for another one.
Yeah, the one where she's interviewed by 12 tourists.
Okay, yeah. So you can that one.
Some of the images are kind of funny.
Okay.
There's the link for that one. Start. She has a pretty deep voice, whatever that means.
Promoting doesn't look like it goes very far.
It doesn't seem so. It just seems like, yeah, they're that big smile.
I'm immediately getting the impression of a logic mojo.
Yep.
Of a what?
What was that, Starglow?
A logic-based mojo is Starglow's getting back.
Yeah, I felt like that when I saw some of the pictures. Seems Zaz would be on the strong side.
Her gesturing looks very firm too.
Yeah, percussive. It's got a big thing.
Definitely percussive, yeah.
So is she only emoting on the pauses? Is that? Are we thinking Z?
Well,
Possibly.
it looks like it.
Yeah.
Possibly. Now that you mentioned it, now that she's articulating, it doesn't seem. I don't think I see emoting when she articulates, but then
Yeah,
when
she
she pauses, she sort of lights up. Yeah, like there.
When
She seems directive, and she seems like she's using a lot of Zaz.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was also articulating value judgments directly after resonating.
Yes.
And also, if you notice, like, I don't know if you guys have noticed the eye contact yet. She does look straight at the interviewer quite a bit. She looks away, but then when she engages, she's looking straight at her. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm listening to her voice. It seems very. Her articulation seems very, very cool. And very matter of fact. And
Cool, deadpan, yeah.
totally. And then,
It's
but she does
interesting.
smile and she does laugh too. And the Jai kind of comes up at those moments. But then she goes right back into like doing her articulation, which is cool.
Right.
So it's kind of like a cherry on the top with the Jai, like here and there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know that this physiological cue means exactly, but her thumbs, they turn around, like they're kind of, I don't know, because I don't have the structure, but they're like pointed like outward quite a bit. It's very
Like it's
pointy
this.
fashion. Yeah.
Double jointed?
She's really elegant though.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I
Wow.
guess thumbs out
Good
don't
job.
preclude the elegantness.
Yeah.
I would think so because directive women, especially women with Z, they would have to learn how to use their Z in a much more in kind of way. And Xenai being the most directive of all the Nez or all the Nai mojos. So I mean that's especially like she's really gotten that down. Looks like.
Did you say the most directive?
Xenai are the most directive of all the Nai mojos.
I think you mean the most yang.
Or yang.
Yeah,
Not
right.
more directive than IG.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Like directive. No,
Yeah.
Yang is what I meant to say.
Yeah, big difference. Yeah.
We've gone to a new interview, so I'm pasting that one, new one on the chat.
Eileen, is that something you've noticed? Is this thumb thing something you've noticed with Z mojos versus?
I think it has to do with the tassel hands, and sometimes it has like an upward tilt to the bend to the fingers, but it's the yang in a yang way and a piercing tassel way.
Mine do that. I'm just noticing mine do that more than yours.
Yeah, they do, right? Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't know what that is.
Hold your hands up, Infinity.
I'll just say that I think this thumb angle is a bit maybe of a distraction right now. I would overemphasize on it.
I have noticed that she's doing a lot of gesturing though, and it seems like you mentioned, Coach, that it's Star Chopper. Like that's how they do their gesturing. It does seem very sort of like karate chop kind of thing.
Yeah, very, very yang, what
Interesting.
you were saying. Glenn.
She
Very
has
interesting.
thin, long fingers.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of want to play devil's advocate here. She does have kind of a long look.
Totally.
Yeah, she does.
We seem to be going very, very strongly towards Xenai, but
No,
maybe we should-
no,
that is the
I'm
case
not
though.
saying that necessarily.
But,
So,
but that is the case that we are moving very strongly that direction. So I agree. Maybe we should.
Maybe we should attach and kind of like try
I
and
think
see
we have to
other
call a spade a
videos.
spade.
Yeah.
yeah.
This
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying like this is I don't know.
You're stating the truth.
Yep.
I'm just curious. What are some other mojos that are in journalism? Females. I think Vaiji is one too.
Vaiji for sure.
Yeah. Jaini.
Jaini. I don't think I've ever seen that.
What about
No.
Vizi? Any Vizi?
Not
really.
unless we're talking sports journalism or military journalism.
More military.
Or sometimes there's criminology or investigating, like investigative reporting, like for crimes. There are by the
That's true, Joe.
crimes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
but I think
And then sometimes I know.
But I don't think that's this.
They're not as numerous. Though.
I feel this affinity for her that I sometimes feel with Z alphas. This
The alphas.
Z Mojo.
I'm going to give you guys a hint. You're going to want to expand your mind with this sample.
Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna
Wait, what?
want to.
I like that.
Probably not a Z9.
Open your minds.
Open your minds. Okay, so maybe we should consider
Maybe Naiji, I don't know.
Naiji or even some kind of adaptive.
Shiny, or yes, Nijai maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
Vaiji.
It's possible. I mean,
Cross, perhaps.
who
She
said-
does have long fingers, doesn't she?
She does have long fingers. I agree with that.
And
Yeah.
they seem very distinctive. I don't know. And then,
Could they be
but I don't
spider?
see a motive. It could be spider.
I could see
Look at the
Nizi.
pictures.
I'm still very heavily on the logic side. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I feel like she seems logic based a little bit, or maybe she does have maybe Zez is on her offside. Maybe that's why, or maybe
What do you think about her eyes?
Nizy perhaps.
Yeah, I was never
Be
sold on the
nice.
pilot thing.
Yeah, me neither.
There's no way you could say Zvi, could you?
There are
Does it-
actually
Yeah.
design journalism.
That's looking interpretive to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I'm seeing interpretive myself.
I think I'm
I
leaning
do
that way
too. I
myself.
do too.
What kind of news does she report on normally? I think it's
Very
Economic-
fringe journalism, focusing on stuff that no one else is focusing on.
I see. That might be in favor of Nesden. I think.
Yeah.
In
I
principle,
think a Nizi.
Principle, yeah, I think maybe theoretically makes sense, but
So she's doing jutting. She's looking away from the god.
I still see the mouth show
An
more
awful
energy
lot.
than eyes. I'm getting more energy from the mouth, unless I'm missing
But
something.
it could be that the mouth is, because sometimes she can have a lot of focus in the mouth, but it doesn't necessarily like mean that
So can jive.
they're. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not necessarily seeing like an. I'm seeing a lot of eyes on her.
yeah.
I heard Coach mention something about like the way Naiji sort of like do their hair, like females. Do you think might be something? I don't know. I'm just trying to pull out whatever.
When you say do their hair, do you mean the way they fix it in real time?
Like the way they may touch their hair, the way they dress their hair, the way they kind of like carry their hair.
They usually have more.
I'm
grace.
just like trying to throw something out there. It seems maybe.
Sheer nice. Ready when you are.
I don't know. I'm considering the possibility that the part of the deepness in the voice might actually be Xi muting. I'm considering Xi right now, but I'm not. I'm considering also a lot of other samples or a lot of other motions. But
Another thing to
That-
throw
that's
out
fine.
there
I'll
is,
take
is
it.
oh, sorry.
Or
Yeah,
Xi
another thing to throw out there is just how easily she articulates. That can maybe help us in weighing whether we
Yeah.
think she's more of a directive or like a all the way from a pilot to a tower.
like whether it's altered state or natural state, like
Yeah, I'm
so-
with Glenn though. I'm weighing Zaini.
I think is there like a tunnely voice in her in the sound of her voice? Does it sound like tunnel, like deep, coming in from like? Sometimes that's what like towers have, right? The tower tunnel voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what I was considering with the deepness of it, that
I'm
might be part of it.
I'm hearing a need of articulation though. She like her words keep coming out. And I don't see a lot of pausing, and I don't know. I mean,
Like
I don't know.
labor.
I haven't seen all Ziny in the world, so.
Although I have Ziny,
But she's speaking.
Pretty percussive.
What's that?
I said I still think the gesturing looks pretty percussive.
Yeah.
And what do you think about her eyes? Do they look knee to you?
So look what?
Knee? They look like dancing eyes?
Sorry, I can't.
I was just saying, if you are considering
It's a
Ziny, does she look like she has dancing
Oh,
eyes to you?
knee. Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It sounded like an M, not an N.
Yeah, my bad.
I know
Yeah,
that
I know.
reporters.
She hasn't stopped talking yet. She's been monologuing this whole time, and very easy at driving the conversation to where she wants to go.
So you think that she might be a directive, maybe a pilot,
Or possibly a hunter.
a hunter?
I'm leaning towards Hunter.
Is anyone getting like a Nizy sort of vibe?
I said Nizy like a while ago. I'm kind of getting that vibe.
I was considering.
She does look back at her worldview a lot.
Yeah.
Does she have that sort of like caginess in the eyes of like a Nizy? I'm thinking about like other Nizy, like Joe Rogan or.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sigourney
seeing.
Weaver.
Joe Rogan.
Well,
She dated?
I'm thinking compare more to like someone like Jada Pinkett Smith though.
Jada Pinkett Smith. She's got a lot of giants.
Or that, there's the one, what's her name?
Sigourney
She was in
Weaver or Chelsea Handler?
Chelsea Handler?
She got Whitney.
Sarah Silverman?
Yeah, Whitney Cummings, actually.
Whitney Cummings.
Yeah.
Maybe like Natasha Leggero.
Yeah.
Does she do a lot of like dismantling, like things in her when she's like communicating with other people, or like?
I think it's more.
I would say yes on that.
Very comfortable with like anti-establishment vibe.
More
Right.
Saying something. Maybe.
So, literal seems pretty unlikely.
I'm watching the second one. Who's the guy that she's talking to? Seems like he might be a Ziny. I don't know.
Well, let's.
He's Jesse Ventura's son, so I'm not sure about that.
I don't know if it's gonna help him.
I don't know.
It's interesting. You might be able to note like
Similarities?
a person.
Yeah.
A person like if you compare them with another person.
Fire so
in a
shop.
dialogue. It's tricky though, right? I mean,
She's very tricky.
Just the fact that Coach said to expand your mind, it throws a.
That was good though.
It kind of indicates.
Good that he said it, but it's hard.
Yeah.
To
Bruce Lee
That
way.
statement's open to a lot of interpretations.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
So Bruce Lee right there. Open your mind.
I'm leaning towards Nialpha right now.
I am too. I said Ziny because I wanted to open us up a little bit more, but yeah, I'm leaning towards Nye Alpha as well.
Just to be honest, like when I look at her eyes, I don't know that I see dancing. I mean, I am not sure.
Her gesturing is interesting. I don't know how to place it. She does do a lot of it. It seems kind of yin.
Like that was
Nice,
kind
yeah.
of when she was articulating there. She kind of.
She's just very elongated, her body and her face, her hands, and everything.
Yeah.
And there are very elongated Nye Alpha.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially
Yeah,
for
they
some of the females. Some of them have like really elongated.
Yeah,
arms
like very
and stuff.
thin.
Yeah.
She and kind of.
Yeah, wizard gestures be quite
Subjectives
elongated.
tend to be more elongated.
You know, He might actually also help to get
There's a lot of echo.
something from her actual show where she's talking straight onto the camera. She does a lot of like kind of drilling the camera with her eyes, so if we want to get kind of a clear shot of that, would work very well.
That's a great idea, Demas.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do some straight on.
Yeah, let's get her doing her stuff.
Hmm. And why don't we just
First
try?
one I see, I'm willing to take egg on my face for doing wrong.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm leaning in that direction myself.
So are we looking at a new video? Or?
I haven't found anything yet. Looking at. Okay. See if you can do
I think I added something to the playlist that might have her straight on.
Okay. Okay, let's fast forward. I don't see it showing up.
You don't? Okay, let me do it. Yeah, I did see something that's a bit bad.
No, you did good.
It's not working for me for some reason.
Okay, so next weekend we have a choice.
Can you put it on the
We
chat?
can revisit
What's that?
Fancy Eye
Put
for
it on the
Tuesday
chat
night, or we can try
section
another few.
so I can pick it up.
You want to try this one again?
Yeah.
Is it just right next? Okay, so we'll do like some review stuff on the Friday and Saturday and see how it goes Sunday. Okay, awesome.
I kind of feel weird.
Here's one, I
opening it
think.
on this.
Yeah, it's not letting me add.
We should also try pausing on certain images that we see, like in video, at certain points to sort of like, I think Coach talked about that last week too. I think that might help.
Yep.
Especially.
Go ahead if you guys see something. Go ahead and pause. Yeah, that's Bricazza, the way she did it. No.
Is it like just the term you guys use? Does she kind of remind you of Tina Fey?
Not really.
She's Tina Fey. I feel like she might maybe other Nizies, but not Tina Fey necessarily.
She has a sword.
But I recognize
She has a
some of the articulation motion. I in like.
Here, I'll show you. Here.
Yeah, I see. It's like a green background.
If somebody else can find another interview with her, where she's looking at the camera, can you go ahead and load it? I'm having trouble loading interviews.
Oh, yeah. I posted something in the chat.
Did you?
But I can't.
Oh. Yeah, Demas posted the video in chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to load it up. But
I can't load it up either. I can't load it up either.
I'll try to do it myself.
Can any of you guys load that link up?
I will try to do it.
Thank you.
What the heck?
I'm clicking on
It won't
plus
go.
sign and nothing's happening. Yeah.
It's like. I don't know what to do.
Okay, let's keep watching this one.
I wouldn't describe her voice actually as being very deep. It sounds kind of like professionally, kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, the
Interesting.
video.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The video's not playing.
It's been lagging with me too, though.
We can try watching it by ourselves. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
it's
let's
option.
give that a shot.
Let's do that.
Oh no, she's tricky.
I would lean towards 9Z right now.
Yeah, journalistic wise, like she's almost more in like the Joe Rogan territory.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Does any? She has this gravitas that
Hmm.
when she's doing her interviews like this, insistent
Poised.
directive gravitas.
She's very poised too.
Does anybody think she reminds them of Picard?
Picard, like Captain
Picard.
Picard.
That's an interesting idea to throw out.
Actually, there's this one character that played on Ensign Rowe.
Oh, Michelle
yeah.
Forbes, yes.
Michelle Forbes.
I don't
yeah.
know.
I can see
Kind
that.
of reminds me of her. Was she an IZ? I don't know. I think she.
What did you
was.
say, Ben?
Yeah.
Glenn?
Very
Ensign Rowe. She was like this kind of.
She played that fearsome admiral on
I see.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Is that the right
she
name?
was
I'm
scary
not
on
really sure that's the
Battlestar
right
Galactica. She was scary.
Yeah, the acting was just perfect for that role, though.
Who was scary? Who you guys talking?
The actress,
Rowe.
Michelle Forbes.
Yeah, she's very seems similar to her.
I mean, not when she played Ensign Rowe, but when she played on Battlestar Galactica, the
Yeah.
Admiral. She
I
was
was
scary.
scared of her. Now
Ro
it's
Laren,
wanting.
huh? Is that her name?
Ro
Was that-
Laren, she was on Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
I'm leaning on Nizy. Is anybody
Yeah.
else leaning anywhere
So am I.
else?
Yeah, I'm pretty much
Look
there.
at some pictures.
Her name is Michelle Forbes.
Right. Demas, how are you feeling about the sample? What's that? How are you feeling about the sample? I think I'm hearing IC from Starglow. I think I may have heard it from Mitchell. Right?
Yeah,
I
I've
didn't
been
say
And
emotion.
Gabe
Oh.
too.
I've been firm on that.
Well,
yeah.
let's do roll call. I'm leaning towards IC. Demas, where are you at?
Doesn't matter so much.
Who feels confident about like, what they think? They should just.
I don't know if I'm leaning Nizy. Like, I feel
I think
It's weird, right? Kind of like.
What are the candidates?
I was talking when
What's the numeric?
okay, but do
but I muted it.
I feel like we're
Never
missing
mind.
something.
I don't. I feel like I don't feel confident enough to
Totally.
agree with Nizy at this point, but I'm not disagreeing with it either.
Yeah.
I'm still playing with Hunters.
I'm feeling really secure on logic based, and I'm feeling 80% on interpretive.
Probably more.
I'm pretty confident about.
I think that's
I agree with both of that.
I'm pretty confident about Ni Alpha. I'm not sure about Ni Z though. But
So we're
I'm definitely.
We're
I'm
basically
going back and
thinking
forth.
cerebral, I think, right? Is that what we're at?
Well, that
I
would
feel
eliminate Ni G though.
Unless Naiji.
Eliminated Naiji yet.
Some people haven't eliminated Naiji. I think I have eliminated Naiji.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
she's at all that I'm even
yeah.
but
I'm not in the Naiji camp, but I could be completely wrong.
I could pivot to the Naiji camp.
Do you
Right now, I'm
guys
not
want to go
at it.
ahead and make a call and say
Yeah, I think let's make
decide
a
that
call.
our first choice is 9Z, but then we also think that she could be an I Alpha
Or something else.
and those are kind of our top.
I feel like just because of Coach's comments, probably not a Z9.
Yeah. I would have said Z9.
Otherwise, he's purposely misleading us. So,
Yeah.
I think he would do that.
That would be bad.
So,
I'm hearing you guys come in and out, so sorry, I'm not quite getting like that. Did anyone say, like, do you guys have any
so is there
other,
anything on deny also?
possibilities? Okay, now. Okay,
No, I
so,
think
Coach, I think we're saying Nye Z as our top choice and possibly a Nye Alpha.
I don't know if that's my top choice, though.
Okay, what is your top choice?
I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards Nai-G, although I'm favoring Nai Alpha.
Nai-G?
Right.
Okay.
So,
My second choice
I think there's a
First choice is
Sky.
and Nai-Z and Nai-G.
can we rule out Ziny also? What about Ziny?
I
Coach.
think Coach is about to. Do you want to go ahead and take a look more video or near in?
Or maybe give us a hint. Another hint.
I already gave you a nice hint.
Yeah, we did.
Give us the best hint.
That wasn't really a hint, Coach.
I think we have to jump at some point. You know, with what we have.
Okay, everyone just call it. Jolly, what do you have?
I'm sorry.
What do you have?
So Nai-Z and Nai-G are.
Demas?
I say Nai-Z. Sorry.
What do you say?
Yeah. Okay, my connection's just been lost, so I'm going to speak over Xiaoling's. I would say Nye Alpha. I feel like I'm leaning toward Nai-G.
Okay. Mitchell?
I don't think they can hear you.
Give what you got.
Give what you got. Whatever.
So I have to choose, or I could do like some kind of
Alchemy.
Hot potato. Hot potato.
I'll go with Nai Alpha, but
Okay,
I'm not comfortable taking.
Nai Alpha slightly more towards Nai-G.
Okay. Go.
Nai Alpha slightly towards Nai Z.
Okay.
Nai-Z, then Nai-G.
Start Club.
I'm gonna go with Nai-Z. Z.
I'm not really even sure on Nai Alpha.
I'm gonna
Abby
go.
Martin.
No,
Oh, who's?
I haven't gone yet. I'm gonna go
Oh,
with Nai.
sorry. What? Go ahead.
Nai Z.
Abby Martin is Nye Z.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
good.
I was going to sit up there.
Good work.
Like giant news.
Very elegant. Very pleasant game.
Very cool.
I recognize that Z, like because she does there's
She also riffs on Heather Clark. MMA.
Who?
She does
riff on Michelle Forbes. And who is?
So,
I was saying Heather Clark from MMA. Brunette.
how do we rule out Zenai?
Well, she had her.
She doesn't have eye contact. She's more slinky. The hands are longer, more elegant. Her eyes are more piercing. She doesn't maintain them on eye contact when she does.
She monologues more.
Longer in the joints, the wrists, and more broken rhythm energy.
Also
more
monologues.
anger.
She monologues.
Monologues as well.
Monologues.
Good.
monologues a lot and drifts way more than a Z Alpha.
And the thumb thing I see with the cool wizard hand, she does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's, she has some good connections and relationships with like other Nai-Z, like Joe Rogan. I think she's got something. I think they were like friends or like mind melded on some kind of case
Gotcha.
or something.
And also, I think someone else mentioned the amount of jive. Her jive amount is higher than the alpha would be. The more heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
She plays that jive very well, and she has that she has that caring of this is the way it ought to be sort of thing. That's why I said it reminded me of Picard, like because that's that thing that he does. He cares about his crew. There's something about that reminded me of Picard.
But there's more gravitas because the higher Nye, the Lizzie Nye, and then also a bit more of getting fired up because of the higher jive.
Yeah.
Also, she's less assuring than a Z9 would be, but
Yeah.
more has more of a stand-up poise.
Totally, I was noticing the poise too. And she didn't seem like, I was thinking like Ivanka Trump and like Donald Trump, and they were not quite matching between them and the.
Yeah.
Her.
Also the localized shy.
Yeah.
They're pretty
Exactly.
much just in the mouth area as opposed to
much less dynamic. She didn't seem like a fighter. She seemed more like slinky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can put that down.
Excellent. You guys had more fun? We're at
Gravitas diplomatic rep.
cool. So that pretty much wraps up. Does anyone have any more thoughts before we call it for tonight? Because we're pretty much at 7:30.
Oh, this is great.
Excellent.
Oh, that was good.
Good. I think we got some good flash training in. Got a good, strong character trash on some cues. Went over the quiz and had a nice live read. Perfect. Okay, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll be seeing a lot of you tomorrow at Nijia's Temple.
Yep.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Nice work.
Awesome job, guys.